north, milder elsewhere with highs of 8. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
Your chance to win big. News Talk's cash machine.
So a lot of rollovers lately. We've had 2 winners in a row in the cash machine. Deirdre Kinsella in Kilkenny and Aisling Harrington in Kerry both answered the all-important call and gave us the correct amounts. The cash machine has been reloaded. The number you need is 15,935 euros 61 cents. Text play to 57557. Get your entry in by 3 o'clock tomorrow, and then across the Go-led network of stations, Barry Dunn will make the call. If your phone rings, answer within 5 rings, give us the exact amount in euro and cents, and the cash is yours. So tomorrow's amount is 15,935 euro 61 cents. Over 18s only, text cost €2.50, and you're playing across the Go-led network of stations. Terms and conditions are on newstalk.com.
The Football Show on Off the Ball.
With Sky. Watch every live Premier League game this season on Sky Sports, BT Sport and Premier Sports.
I'm prepared to do anything I can to play for my country again.
Do it then. What about your start to the game?
It wasn't bad, was it?
Why should there be an honest answer be a mistake?
How can a modern day manager not have a mobile phone?
Why should he?
Now you're welcome along, Football Show. Kenny Cunningham is with us this evening. We have a Champions League evening ongoing. Second halves are just started, including at Ibrox, where we've had a decent game between Rangers and Liverpool, 1-1. Napoli in that group, 4-2 winners against Ajax earlier on. Elsewhere, Group B this evening, Atletico Madrid and Club Bruges 0-0, Bayer Leverkusen 0, FC Porto 1. The Atletico Club Bruges result is a result. The other game is second half. Barcelona against Inter. Dembele has Barcelona 1-0 up at the Nou Camp, half-time in that game. And Bayern Munich, Mane on the score sheet, Thomas Muller on the score sheet this evening. They are 4-0 up at half-time against Victoria Pilsen. And then Sporting Lisbon 0, Marseille 2. That's in Spurs' group, of course, where Son has scored twice, Kane has scored once. They are 3-1 up at home to Eintracht Frankfurt. Kenny Cunningham is here in studio, so we've been keeping an eye on this Liverpool game. We'll come to that in a moment. We were talking naturally enough at the start of the show about events at Hampden Park last night. It was quite an interesting point. You were emphatic in the news round. You said you thought Ireland were very much the better team, and I do think for spells certainly people would have watched it and saw Scotland knitting patterns together and dominating possession and creating some chances. I think on balance Ireland probably did create the better chances across the 90 minutes, but Scotland looking more almost in control of the game in a traditional way. And it was quite interesting. The team afterwards in their various interviews were talking about how they love defending and actually they feel in control of defending. So Katie McCabe was talking to Tony O'Donoghue and RTE about this afterwards. So I mean, again, you get a sense here, this is Katie McCabe, very creative player, loves being on the ball, but quite happy to defend, as she said to Tony.
Yeah, look, people might not like our style of play and the defending, but we love it. We love to defend. We're passionate about it. It's our identity, and we catch teams out on the counter attack like we did tonight, and that's our strength. And yeah, look, it gets results. We've been on a great run so far, and to come here, difficult place to come. Obviously away from home, we had our travelling fans here. We were against it tonight, and we're the underdogs, and we always are, but we love it, and we get the result and prove people wrong, and we're going to a World Cup now. We're proud.
So that's a little sense of Katie McCabe, and I think Denise O'Sullivan there chipping in at the end. So that tallies with your sense that even though they didn't have the ball for long spells, there was a fair degree of comfort there in how they defended.
Oh no, I agree there in terms we looked very comfortable in that kind of low defensive block, and I've no problem with that. It's where you defend, really. I mean, Kay says there we love our defending, and I understand that kind of mentality. But the next question is where you decide to defend. Do you defend with a low defensive block on the edge of your box? But you can also defend with your back line on the halfway line and most of your players in the opposition half. You can start, you're defending in the opposition half as well. So I suppose that's my point. And which of those tactics you choose to employ is pretty much dependent on, to a certain extent, maybe the players you have available to you at the time, and probably more so in terms of the strengths, the qualities of the opposition team. So say, for example, if we'd have been up against the Scottish team tonight, I'd looked at that Scottish maybe front line and saw 2 or 3 players rapid pace who could really maybe expose our kind of central defenders in 1v1 situations, and if there was space in behind them, then I'd be saying, yeah, low defensive block, absolutely. Right. Take your game back to you, maybe 5 yards outside your penalty box, so there's no space basically for the opposition team to run into behind you, and let them play in front. Be patient, trust your defensive setup, and just be patient. You wait for your triggers, wing back possession, and break. And if you have good pace in the team, which generally we do, we've got a good bit of pace from what I've seen higher up the pitch. You can break out from that low defensive block and be effective. You can break into space. So yeah, I understand that, but that's not always the case. And I thought last night we looked at that Scotland team. I thought, I'm not sure they can hurt us really in terms of the quality of their attacking players. Good midfield. Weird in centre midfield, I thought was probably their best player. It was a good contest. Or than Denise O'Sullivan centre midfield. But apart from that, so in that situation, I think to myself, well, yeah, defend 20 yards higher up the pitch. And now when you're winning the ball back off them, you're 20 yards, 20, 30 yards closer to the opposition penalty box. So that's all I'd say. I wouldn't be disagreeing in terms of what was said there, but I just think you can fine tune and just kind of adjust what you're doing in terms of what you're seeing on the pitch, and that you can do that as a player on the pitch. You can be set up to play a certain way, like, right girls, it's a low defensive block tonight. We lose possession, we drop back into our own half, nice and compact, but very quickly and you're in a game sometimes 15-20, you get a bit of a sense of, I think we can get on the front foot here. We can go at these a bit higher up the pitch. I don't think technically they're good enough to play through us, and if they do, don't really feel as if they got players in 1v1 situations that actually run away from us in behind. And I think you can actually make those adjustments yourself. The guys are talking about kind of Nia Fatty, good talker, leader, and if you have a few of them on the pitch and they can see that and recognise it, then it's a case of, right, guys, let's take ourselves 20 yards up the pitch. So fundamentally, there's nothing changing in terms of how you're defending. You're literally just taking your whole game further up the pitch. So that was my only point about last night. Like I said, I don't know exactly how the guys were set up, but yeah, I'm buying into it in terms of that defensive setup, in terms of recognising what you're good at and playing to your strengths. And if the idea was to kind of draw opposition teams onto you, to give up the ball, now to give the ball to the opposition teams, particularly good football teams for long periods, you have to have a lot of confidence in your defensive qualities.
Do we look good enough to be able to keep it for long periods? Like, do you suspect Vera Pauw has looked at the team and said, we're better hitting teams in the counter-attack rather than over?
Yeah, but I'm not saying let's play a massive possession-based game. I think, I'm a big fan of, Megan Connolly wasn't available. She's an outstanding player. I think she kind of elevates us to another level when she plays in that central midfield area. Like her and Denise O'Sullivan playing in there have been really strong for us. I came in last night, done really well. But yeah, so I'm not preaching we got to go and play a possession-based game or anything like that. You know what I mean? I understand. I actually respect, and I actually enjoy that side. I'm probably one of the few who enjoys a good team that's defensively set up well, can soak up pressure. And I find it quite exciting to see a team break out from that defensive shape quickly and up the pitch, and and break at teams and play through them and hurt teams and with quick, efficient counter-attacking football. I find that very exciting. I'm quite engaged in that. Probably very similar. There's teams out there doing it at the moment. Conte's doing it at the moment with Spurs, probably getting a little bit of criticism for it from some quarters, but no, I've got a huge amount of respect for it, because a huge amount of organisation goes into a degree of football intelligence as well from the players to take on board what the manager's saying, kind of execute huge levels of concentration required to play that well in terms of soaking up pressure, making good decisions all the time. But then obviously you have to have the ability to break out from that defensive shape and be effective as well. So I'd say to you, low defence. If we hadn't any good pace, if we had a couple of players higher up the pitch, a little bit one-paced, I'd be looking at it and saying, low defensive block. I'm not sure. Once we win it back, who's going to take us up the pitch? Who's got the speed of foot? If we knock a 40-yard ball over the top, who's going to run away from the opposition centre half, or who's going to pick the ball up in deep areas and run 30, 40 yards and run away from people in possession of the ball? And if you haven't got those type of players, that low defensive block is no good for you. You've got to take your game higher up the pitch. You've got to go and engage them in their half the pitch. So when you win it back, you've got smaller distances to travel to the opposition goal. So they're all the things. I mean, every coach, every team kind of wrestles with those kind of things. But fundamentally, in terms of what the girls are saying there, I buy into that. And I still feel as if in terms when I look at the Irish senior team now and going into these games that we have coming up in terms of World Cup qualifiers, I still think that's probably the best template for us in terms of if we're going to get out of that group. So I wouldn't be looking at those Dutch games and France games now thinking, right, we've got to get 50% possession off these teams, and how are we going to dominate these teams in terms of possession? I'd be forgetting all about that. I'd be looking at it differently and saying, right, we've got to be realistic here. Can we compete toe to toe with these teams from a technical point of view, football ability? Maybe not. But what are we good at? And I look at the Ireland team at the moment. Look at our defensive setup, that back three, wing backs. I'm liking what I'm saying, particularly in the kind of the back three. I'm liking that shield in front at the moment. Those partnerships in front. Josh Cullen, Jason Malumbi, real solid defensive axis there. Huge energy, dynamism in that area of the pitch. Are those players going to get on the ball and dominate the ball and control the game for us? Maybe not. But I'll tell you what they do. They'll sit behind the ball. They'll fill spaces. They'll make tackles. They'll track runners. And if we do win it back, they'll take us up the pitch quickly. If they got the legs to do that. So for me, even from the Irish men's senior team, I think maybe that's a template. I know there's a lot of talk about changing the way we play and wherever else, but the closer we get to that type of template, for me, the more confident I become that we can potentially split those two teams at the top of the group, France and the Netherlands.
We have just seen a goal for Liverpool at Ibrox. It's Firmino, again, 55 minutes on the clock. He's running over to celebrate with Joe Gomez, who I suspect put the cross in from the right-hand side. And we'll see a replay in just a moment. So Rangers took the lead in this game, if you're just tuning in. Firmino scored then, header from a corner in the first half. And now he's just made it 2-1 Liverpool. So again, it is Gomez down the right-hand side. It is Liverpool on the counter-attack. And it's pretty straightforward stuff, really. Gomez, couple of touches and swings a low cross into the area.
Nothing straightforward about that cross into the box.
Great finish from Firmino.
That's as sweet as it gets. I've got a bit of a cliche what I'm going to say now in terms of like Trent Alexander-Arnold would have been proud of that ball. It was a brilliant pass from Gomez, just slid it in behind the Rangers defenders. Firmino just walks onto it. It's a relatively simple finish from him. He's an interesting one, isn't it? Because you're looking at the Liverpool front forward. Salah, big drop off from him probably for the last 6 months in terms of performance. Darwin Núñez still kind of finding his feet to an extent. You got young Carvalho and Elliott again finding their feet, just developing themselves as players, and a little bit of uncertainty there around the Liverpool midfield and forward areas. And all of a sudden, Firmino from nowhere, and it looked as if some people had written him off and he was going to be the next one out of the door. Some people expect him to have gone in the summer. And all of a sudden, he's found something, isn't he?
Yeah, yes.
This season, just proving how good a player he is, we all knew.
When I said straightforward, I didn't mean not high in quality. Sometimes there's genius in simplicity, Straightforward, it wasn't an intricate move, but it took a lot of quality. All right, can we agree on that? You're always learning.
No, I wouldn't agree in terms of the delivery of... No,
I couldn't agree.
Previous to that, you're right, it was a simple ball out to Gomez, a couple of touches out of his feet. But that was top quality, the delivery, that final cross.
Of course it was top quality. It's straightforward in terms
how you
of what
described
happened.
it. Top quality, but straightforward.
I describe it to a radio listening
there. That's you're contradicting yourself there.
As a radio listening audience, they don't need a pass to him and then to him and then to him. It's quite straightforward in that he whips in
he's got a bit of that
brilliant cross.
He's got a bit of that Joe Gomez. It wasn't a cross early in the season. He played right back as well. He whipped one in on the money.
He's in the shadow of Trent Alexander-Arnold, but he's got a lot of quality in that right foot as well.
But of course, what you get with him, and he had a bit of a tough time. Actually, he came on at the weekend for Trent, and actually had a difficult time against Martinelli. But generally speaking, he's far superior than Trent in terms of his defensive qualities. But some people think him, he's a bit clunky in that kind of right back position. But he does on occasion step forward and produce some moments of real kind of quality, as he has done there. I think that's important. Kind of when you're having a wobble at Liverpool are at the moment, you just want players in areas of the pitch that you can trust. Just do the basics, do the fundamentals right, and slowly let's just find a little bit of rhythm, a bit of form, and kind of build. That's what you need. So he might give them that in that right back position for now.
I will come to Liverpool in just 1 second. I'm conscious if you're just tuning in at 9 o'clock or if you're listening to the podcast, this might sound like, geez, have we really talked much about the Irish performance last night? We've talked about it a lot on the show, on the news round. This evening we've talked about the controversy as well. We've had Vera Pauw on the show talking to Nathan earlier on, so I'm just conscious if you are tuning in at 9 thinking football show, why they're not getting stuck into all the obvious bits and pieces like Amber Barrett's goal. That's why. At the risk of repeating myself, one of the stats from last night, which I mentioned on the news round, which jumped out, 54 European teams could qualify for the World Cup. 11 get through, so it's 11 of 54, and this is one of the strongest, if not the strongest continent certainly, trying to qualify for the World Cup. So the seeding of the European teams which made it through: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. I'm not sure who 10 was, by the way. And then Ireland jumped in at number 21 as that was their pre-qualification seeding. So they have jumped past a whole bunch of players. And Sue Ronan was making the point on OTB AM this morning that actually now having got through the very difficult, arduous task of qualifying from a European point of view, she was saying that actually now that they get to the World Cup, she said with the greatest respect to some of the African sides who qualified or the Oceania sides who qualified, actually to get through Europe is tougher than playing some of those sides. So Ireland will go to the World Cup thinking, actually, the fact that we've made it through Europe and got here means we can kind of do something. It won't just be, God, we're about to step up to a whole other level of playing here. Far from it. So that's kind of exciting. And I guess they have a year to think about the things you were mentioning tactically.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Yeah, the seeding system there when they is it 32 teams
for the first time? Yeah, 32.
Yeah, 8 groups of 4. I'm guessing like that's pretty
standard.
Simple. Yeah. So in terms of the seeding system, not too sure. Second, third in terms of the group. I don't know how they divvied up, but I think you're right. I do you know what? I don't have to see. I wouldn't necessarily have to see a huge amount. Seeing a couple of the other teams, watch the kind of American England. Play the other night as well, so that's the top at the moment, isn't it?
By a distance.
Yeah, by a distance. But I wouldn't have looked at either of those two teams. England, I thought were the better teams. I looked at that American team. I wouldn't look at that our Irish team up against them and think we're over depth here. You know what I mean?
Ireland will be in pot 3. They'll be ranked 26th of the 32. So they'll be in pot 3. So there'll be 2 quote unquote better teams ahead of them.
But like I'm saying, I didn't see a vast chasm in terms of what I was seeing in that necessarily the England USA game, in terms of what I've been seeing from the Ireland team of late, for the reasons that we're talking about. Good setup, good structures, little patterns. You can see that they're organised. They're kind of, the girls are comfortable in terms of what they're being asked to do in the system. Predominantly, it's been a kind of back 3, isn't it? Wing backs and very solid, like I said. And that's kind of central midfield area. Kate McCabe obviously is, star quality. She's an interesting one in terms of where exactly do you place her on the pitch, and in terms of the other players as well, where you're going to get the kind of the best out of her, but also respect the players who are around her as well in terms of the balance of the team. She's played kind of left wing back as well.
To what extent were McCabe and Megan Campbell at fault for the fact that first kind of 20 minutes or so it was down Ireland's left hand side that Scotland were having a lot of joy?
Yeah,
not massively.
I didn't think a massive joy. There was obviously a bit of a lead up to the penalty kick, wasn't there? Was a little bit of a little bit of combination play, but no, I never thought we were getting overly stretched personally in any area of the pitch. Yeah, I think Hayes is an interesting one because a player of that quality, you really always feel inclined to get him into a central area of the pitch where they can better, kind of influence the game. But what I will say is I don't think we're deficient in that area of the pitch. Like I said, you bring Megan Connolly back into that central area of the pitch. She's a very talented all-round player like you, so you don't really feel as if she's almost needed. So yeah, I can understand whether it's a kind of as an orthodox left winger or kind of left wing back, she's perfectly capable of playing there. Even last night, although like I said, it wasn't a huge amount of quality in the games. You put a delivery in second half on your Gorman, it was. That's the kind of quality that she can deliver from that area of the pitch if you can just get it. That's what I'm saying, not being too passive, because that type of player, you want to get him on the ball in higher areas of the pitch as often as possible, because she has that quality to score, to deliver, put that ball on the money, generally speaking, 9 times out of 10. So
straightforward ball. Kenny earlier on did an amazing breakdown of Amber Barrett's goal. And I'm sure that's been clipped and it's probably up on social media. No, I thought it was very good for a man who likes the defensive side of the game. It was an appreciation of a brilliant finish. You've got people texted in though, so these were texts which came in earlier, which I didn't get to. So it's you called it a toe poke. It's amazing how it's different across the country, lads. Garvin in Cork, it's a toe pecker. Toe pecker, lads. With a woodpecker hitting it with a single point of the beak, like a woodpecker. We called it a toe pecker.
That's been shortened to a peck? Is that what the previous caller said, a toe peck?
No,
he's obviously shortened that down to
maybe he has, peck.
Yeah. No, it was a peg, was it? Did he say a toe peg?
Toe peg. Toe pecker is maybe it's a Cork thing, I don't know. Somebody else said it's a toe bog. I wouldn't call it toe bog myself. Paul says we always called that finish a toe jammer. That's good. We'll have that, Paul. Toe poke all day long. Good man, Kenny. So somebody agreeing with you. And then
I did say toe poke. I'm doubting myself now. I said a toe poke.
And then me with my Kildare, North Kildare bog toe. So he says, I was just about to text in and say it's a bog toe myself when you said it, Joe. And I'm a Clane man. That's only up the road, Kenny. Definitely a Kildare term. So apparently in Kildare, it's a bog toe.
You've twisted it around. You've totally twisted it around there. Like you're leaving with the
toe poke. Yeah, but the bog is the headline. Yeah. Yeah. Now I would have said a bog toe is more of a, you've given it a good whack. Whereas there's a subtlety to it. Toe poke, I think, gets more at what the finish was.
Yeah. There's a technical element to it, isn't it? The toe poke, isn't it?
When she first hit it, and by the way, isn't there something beautiful about watching how slowly it rolled into the net? Like it was like Berbatov or something. But when she first hit it, I thought, was that outside of her foot? Or is she...
Outside of her toe. Outside toe poke.
Yeah. I thought, is that outside of the foot? Or was that a bog toe? A toe poke?
But that's the beauty of it, isn't it? Because like we were saying, you take it so early, you don't really have to generate a huge amount of pace. You just almost put it out there. The keeper really can't get themselves set. So it's just about the contact and just a little bit of precision on it. And it's on its way. It's really past the goalkeeper.
It's not super easy to have, when you're running at pace, precision with a little toe poke like that. It's she downplayed it and said, I gave it. She said the big toe. That's obviously a Donegal goal thing.
Yeah.
The big toe.
But she's doing herself a disservice there because there's a skill element. Well, there's a skill element too. The easy one really is the safety one really is to open your body up and to use the inside of your right foot. Yes. That's the safety. That's the easy one. That's the safety Sam one. But by doing that, you're kind of telegraphing a little bit to the goalkeeper where you're aiming it, and also you're giving them a split second more time to plant their feet, get their body momentum going over that way to make the save, which is what the point I was making earlier. So, there might have been a few. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what was going in through the head at that particular moment. I think she mentioned about keeper coming out. Initially, she had a picture in her head. She wanted to think over the keeper, so that can change very quickly. Keeper comes out quickly and cuts the space. You can't get up and down quick. You got to readjust. You got to make a different decision. So.
Yeah. It was an amazing moment, really. Because I think you can miscue.
I think it's a centre half. I was running back at her there, and I was that centre half. I'm thinking just have that touch to your right. Yeah, just a touch.
Because
give me a chance to launch myself here at you like anything.
Did you see in her interview, Liverpool could be in here, by the way. If it's not offside, it's a goal, and it's Núñez. Don't think it is offside. They're certainly celebrating. Haven't seen the dreaded VAR yet, Kenny.
We won't know. Let's just wait for another 2.5 minutes to find out if it is an actual goal, and then start all the celebrations again.
It was Núñez, wasn't it? There's two players there with a ponytail this evening. Did you ever have a ponytail? So we're seeing the replay. And ball kicked out. It's a very poor goal for Rangers to concede, really. Goalkeeper kicked it straight to a Liverpool player in the middle of the pitch, Fabinho.
Yes, he won it, yeah.
And clever little ball through, and it's set up for, I think, Núñez by Firmino. And again, it's all onside. Oh, lovely touch, Firmino. He could have just done it simply.
He could have toe poked it, couldn't he? Oh no!
He gave a delicious little flick. Nothing straightforward about
He went all Samba on us.
Yeah, and it's the exact finish that you're talking about, where it's body opened and side footed into the far corner, as opposed to toe poked in. I guess that's the other thing. You side foot it there when you're not near the keeper. Whereas, here comes VAR.
Doesn't matter because it wasn't played to him.
Oh yeah, he's okay.
He was off. The pass wasn't played to him. It was played to Firmino. So the next pass, he's onside.
Do you ever like a finish there where Núñez has been set and it's the most obvious Henry finish of all time to whip it into the near post? You a fan of that?
Well, I am when it's warranted.
This is the Kenny Cunningham school of finishing this evening, by the way. We've never done finishing with Kenny Cunningham. This is long overdue. So
it was. I suppose that if you're talking about that example of that, you probably go back to the game in Scotland, wouldn't you? When Troy was through on goal. Remember we broke out with Obafemi second half, and he squared the ball, set himself. And for me, that was from the angle there was. For me, it was just that open your body, put it into the far, the traditional finish,
the Henry finish.
Yeah, but he went for the eyes, the little kind of drag back inside the near post, which for me is it's a more difficult technique. Clearly, like, you know what I mean, trying to whip your foot around the ball at the last minute, not generate too much spin. If you do, you'll take it beyond the so that's the more. But sometimes it's warranted if you get a sense of, if you look up and you want to play the easy one into the far post, but maybe the keeper's starting position is such, maybe he set himself over that side of the goal. Maybe you get a sense of he's anticipating it, he's on his way, and he's going to save it. That's when the good players recognise that. And
I just had a thought there. Do you know what you're describing? That was Matt Letizier's penalty technique. So Letizier, as I understand it now, I'm open to, okay, if he suddenly sees
being a good friend of Matt Letizia and having these deep conversations with him on occasions.
Watching a documentary on him, I thought it was very interesting. I used to take penalties as a kid, so I was
Do you ever talk to people in like normal conversation? Or do you get...
I used to take penalties as a kid, so obviously he had a great penalty record, and I remember thinking, oh, that's very clever. So what he would do was he would start aiming for that from a penalty spot now, but the Henry finish, as in open out the body right hand side. And he said, when you aim that way, you can always last minute whip it left if you see the keeper go.
He was looking though, but he was looking. He was good enough. He was looking at the keeper.
I never tried it myself, Kenny, but that's, you know, he had that. As you said, the keeper can be a bit over in that far corner, so he would look last minute, and if he felt that, he'd whip it. That's tremendous,
yeah. But the nerve to have the nerve to do that, but also the confidence in yourself, your technique to kind of make that adjustment.
Yeah.
Tony does a little bit for Brentford, doesn't he? And Jorginho, to a certain extent, they kind of wait, don't they? They just wait and they open the foot up, and they can go either way. You know, they'll splay their foot and put it to the keeper's left if they have to. If he's going the other.
Yeah.
Now that's amazing. Like that's amazing nerve.
Is there any player who's associated with the whip into the near post the way Henry is associated with the far corner? Everyone says the Henry finish. I can't think of someone.
People said an Henry finish, but it's a pretty bog standard finish, really. I mean, he didn't invent it. He didn't invent the finish where you open up your left or right. Even North Kildare, there was a few examples of that in the late 60s, early 70s. People opening up their right foot and side foot into the corner.
Henry's done very well to claim that.
He's claimed it. That's been in existence since the dawn of time. The finish, going off in a tangent here, which actually
slight tangent. Go on, sorry.
Which fascinated me, and I haven't seen too much of it. Mesut Ozil. I saw it once, and I doubted what I was seeing. I saw it first of all. He got in on goal with the keeper to be slight angle.
Yeah, for Germany or for Arsenal?
For Arsenal. Madrid. And when I first saw it, I thought, oh, he's fluffed it. How lucky! What a lucky finish! Kicked it into the ground. He stabbed the ball into the ground, and it bounced over the goalkeeper.
With studs, did he stab it?
No, with his instep. His instep, he stamped it into the ground, so the ball popped.
The ball must have been a bit too. He couldn't have done that front on. It was a bit to his side, was it? And
a little bit. Like a little chop on into the ground.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like like maybe a three. Or, you know, like your voice and your orange to hit the golf ball into the ground and like
goes up.
Yeah, it goes upwards, isn't it? That's what they say. It doesn't make sense.
The more you hit down,
it goes up.
Counterintuitive.
Yeah. Well, he done that once, and I thought. I remember describing it as, how lucky's he got there. Right. Totally mishit that. And his bobble, the keeper committed himself early, couldn't recover, bobbled over him. Horrible finish.
Yeah.
And about a month later, I saw him do it again.
Your head exploded. Yeah,
and I thought, oh my God, he's doing it deliberately. He's kicking that ball deliberately into the ground, knowing that the keeper's anticipating a normal ball speed coming towards him, committing himself left or right, and then by the ball bouncing into the ground, it takes a bit of speed off the ball, throws it up into the air, and by the time the keeper almost kind of reacts and recovers, it's too late. It's over. It's bobbling over.
In my mind here.
This happened 3 or 4 times. Not too much. It happened maybe 3 times with him.
Yeah.
And the third time I could see it as clear as day, and I've never seen it.
But that finish deserves to be named after him. The Ozil finish, not Henry's side foot far corner. We have to take a break. Football show coverage is with thanks to Sky.
The Knuckler.
Yeah.
The Ozil Knuckler.
Watch every live Premier League game this season on Sky Sports, BT Sport, Premier Sports. Mick McCarthy outside has just put through a video. There's a YouTube collection of these finishes of Ozil. So
I was going to say, it's hard to. I haven't done it justice. You better roll one of them.
I know exactly what
people are probably scratching their head thinking, what in the name of God is he talking about?
You did very well. We'll take a short break.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Sky. Watch all the football you love, including the biggest Premier League games every weekend. Live on Sky.
This is News Talk.
On Thursday, the 20th of October, News Talk and Square, the payments platform, are hosting an exclusive after-work event for startups and local producers. Hosted by yours truly, Joe Lynham, Square will be offering a business advice workshop in their new Square Market on 47 Grafton Street in Dublin. If you want to learn more about Square and see in person how it can help your business, then check out newstalk.com/market.
When life gets busy, and you feel you are in constant demand. Give your body and mind support with Zenflor. Zenflor, containing a natural occurring bacteria combined with B vitamins, helps reduce fatigue and support mental performance. Just ask your local pharmacist about Zenflor or search Zenflor online.
Dundeal has the largest range of electric vehicles in Ireland from Ireland's trusted premium car dealerships. That's why you will find Western Motors Volkswagen on Dundeal. Stop by Western Motors Volkswagen showroom on Dundeal today and connect with them for great deals on electric vehicles. Dundeal, for electric vehicle deals to feel great about from all of Ireland's trusted car dealerships.
If you need urgent care, Beacon Hospital's emergency department is open Monday to Saturday. In advance of attending, we offer a phone triage system to reduce waiting times. Our emergency department is supported by over 2,000 staff and is home to Ireland's most advanced diagnostic equipment. For urgent care, call our ED on 01 293 9999. This is modern medicine. This is Beacon Hospital. For opening hours, visit beaconhospital.ie.
You may never have heard of him, but he was the man who risked his life to help create the Ireland we know today.
You're only one mistake away from execution.
He was one of the most daring spies in Irish history.
Never was he more exposed or in danger.
His name was Ned Broy.
He suggested that Broy should meet Michael Collins directly.
All episodes of Belly of the Beast, a Go Loud original, are available now on the Go Loud app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Sky. Watch Premier League, Women's Super League, EFL, Scottish Premiership and much more. Live only on Sky Sports.
This is News Talk.
It's unbelievable. It's a different level. It's so
it's
good.
Not the coffee. It's not the coffee in this studio, I'll tell you that.
How is that not more famous? Oh, we've had another goal at Ibrox. Mo Salah. There's nothing wrong with the coffee here. Mo Salah, Liverpool,
not been
in
funny.
control of this game.
Bit of a towie. This was a bit of a towie one as well, I'm telling you.
A poke, would you say?
Telling you.
A pecker.
He rifled it. A driller.
The jammer.
Driller.
The jammer.
It was a jammer. It was a jammer, you're right. I was gonna go with a driller, jammer. He put a bit on it.
He didn't look too happy. Was it an OG? Doesn't seem that fussed. Oh, it's an unbelievable finish.
It is, isn't it? It's a jammer.
Why?
Have a look at it. We've got a close up here.
It's a toe poker, jammer, pecker. Jeez, it is and all. It's from a very tight angle. There wasn't much else he could have done with that except give that a toe poke, was there? Because he was from a tight angle here, Kenny.
Exactly.
He had to just poke it. Keeper might have saved it, but still.
But that's what I'm saying. You take it early, don't you? You know, the keeper almost takes the keeper by surprise, and he's really caught that. That was he's really popped it, isn't he? That's a really good finish.
Why did he look so nonplussed about that? He's not himself, is he? There's something gone awry there with Salah.
He's not playing at the level, but I mean, you can trace that back really second half of last season. Joe, I think he was well, but people were saying, he's just on one of those. It's Mo Salah. Give him 400 grand a week and six-year deal. What's all the
people all suggested?
What's the argument about
missing? Well, it was African Cup of Nations and then the World Cup playoff. That all that's going on as well. He's had a lot of disappointments in the last.
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't buy into that. It doesn't manifest itself in that in terms of you can't. You can't run as quick over 20 yards. I just feel the feel with me, Mo Salah, what I've seen the last kind of year or so, is just that very similar to Jordan Henderson. Just that kind of dynamic speed which you had over 10, 20, even 15 yards standing start. It's dissipating, and that's going to be a problem for him. It doesn't mean that he can't still score goals. And he's not going to play a kind of a pivotal role, but it's going to make it harder.
Yeah,
it's going to make it harder for him to turn into the type of numbers that he has. And there's also slight other trade-offs as well. And are you going to get as much out of him in terms of heading back down the pitch?
Well, sorry, yeah. I do want to ask you about that. So people know that you're great on tactics and the 4-2-3-1 thing is interesting. So the two boys are sitting in midfield. Salah's one of those three, generally on the right-hand side behind the one. So Salah's job now, because it's not a 4-3-3 where he has the likes of Jordan Henderson between him and the right back, Salah now has a big responsibility to put the head down and trek back towards his own goal deeper than he ever would have for much of his Liverpool career. Is that the gist?
Well, traditionally that you have to because when you play with, as Liverpool have with two number 8s, those two advanced number 8s, they're both of them are leaning over to the right side of the 8's leaning over to the right side of the pitch and likewise on the left hand side. So when that opposition fullback gets beyond the Liverpool wingers, whether it's Salah on that side of the pitch, Jordan Henderson was always leaning over that side of the pitch, and with his kind of pace, his physical levels, he could make those distances and continually, it's not just once, 10, 15, 20 times a game, continually be able to get there at top speed, and he was able to do that. And with the system, if they continue with this system now, with kind of a two in midfield, kind of two number sixes. I mean, generally they play within 12, 15 yards of each other in centre midfield. The distance for those centre midfielders now to get into those wide areas and double up with the Liverpool fullbacks is greater.
Yes. And
plus, you've got, looking at Jordan Henderson, you've got a player who can't now cover the distances in as great a speed as you had done previously. So that's not so much a problem, because I wouldn't expect me to, in a central orthodox central midfield pairing, I wouldn't be expecting those centre midfielders to get out and double up and be fullback. That's the responsibility of your wide men, your two wingers. When you play with the 3 and the number 10, it's now your wingers who've got to get back and double up with the fullbacks. That's pretty much a given, Joe.
I'm not sure Mo Salah wants to do that, can he?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not too sure you want Mo Salah down. And that's traditionally not where he's played for Liverpool, for the reasons that we're saying.
Yeah.
He's always played a bit of a half-cocked one, isn't he? He's tracked runners to a point, and he's almost passed them on to Jordan Henderson, and kept himself in that in-between position. So if Liverpool turned over the ball, which generally they do, they could get the ball up to him in a reasonably advanced area.
Cheating, some call it, but it's clever.
Yeah, but it's clever. No, and it's not cheating, to be honest with you. It's making a conscious decision to do it, but you need the players to do it. And Liverpool always had Jordan Henderson right side of day, and Gini Wijnaldum, when they were at their best left side of day, they could spring out into those wide positions and double up with the Liverpool fullback. So that was absolutely fantastic.
Oh, he scored again. It's brilliant. It's brilliant, Mo Salah. It really is. He's in a tight space, and he sprints and he checks back and he has a look, and it's that next to no backlift from outside the area, and he just catches the goalkeeper out, and it's brilliant. And again, he's not, okay, look, they're 5-1 up, so it's not like he's going to be taking off his top and celebrating, but not even much of a smile out of him, but it's a great goal, isn't it?
It's a great goal. But these are the qualities which you have. So I'm talking about maybe a slow down in terms of hasn't got that kind of juice in his legs, that kind of burst of acceleration over 10, 15 yards. But that's only one aspect of it. What he has is he's still a very, very good finisher when he gets in around the opposition penalty box. So that's a good example of it there. Didn't see a massive burst of pace there to get away from people. Didn't just manipulate the ball. Found himself a little pocket, knew exactly where the goal was. And then that technique off his left foot, just kind of finding the corner net. So he still has that. So nobody's here suggesting suddenly
he's going
to fall off a cliff. You know what I mean? He's still capable of maybe 15 plus league goals, but he's going to be compromised potentially a little bit on other aspects of his game.
Yeah, well, we'll watch that develop. So Jurgen Klopp in his press conference in advance of this game, Didi Hamann had been, we have the clip here, Didi Hamann had been speaking, and he said Liverpool needed a spark. So it wasn't, it wasn't the most detailed point. And I'm sure Hamann had said more, but basically the journalist put it to Jurgen Klopp that, Hamann had said, we need a spark. You're going to have to get your headphones here. I'm going to give you a due warning, because it usually takes you a few seconds to get the headphones on, and you miss the start of the clip. Okay, good man. So here's Jurgen Klopp's response to the Didi Hamann Liverpool need a spark criticism.
I heard the phrase after the game against Arsenal used that Liverpool need a spark. What do you feel?
Who said that?
Didi Hamann is
great. He's a fantastic source.
I'm just
well respected everywhere.
Former Liverpool midfielder, obviously achieved.
That doesn't give you the right to say what you want, especially when you have no idea.
Well, I'm asking you, what do you feel that you need? I mean, where do you see a spark, if it's a spark that you need? I
actually think Didi Hamann doesn't deserve that you. What's that now? What is that? To use his phrase to ask me a question. Do me a favor and ask your own question.
Okay.
That's good.
We won't use that phrase, but I feel what is it you feel?
Try to
that
ask
you need?
A question without the word spark. That's the challenge now. Huh?
No spark in there.
Oh,
that was took Didi down.
Yeah, no, I didn't like to hear that. I've got to be honest with you. I think that's a fair comment. Spark is suggesting that we're not seeing Liverpool at their best. Where's the improvement going to come? That's the question, isn't it? He's saying spark, but that's basically what he's saying. I think that's fair.
It's a general point. By the way, Mo Salah has scored another goal, I should say, during that.
The 6-1, is it?
They don't just need a spark. I mean, they've got Mo Salah. So he's scored a hat-trick now. Mo Salah scored a hat-trick.
Liverpool can't get better. That's pretty obvious. Individual players have to look at themselves all over the pitch. But I don't see, for me, it's the tactical setup of the team, which I'm kind of really interested in, and have been really for the past kind of probably the last year. particularly with the development of kind of Carvalho and Harvey Elliott come into the team. And I'm two big fans of those two young kids. They're lovely footballers, different types of players, different kind of attributes, but they're going to develop into, real assets to the football club. But how do you?
Yeah.
But what place do you find for them in the team? What's the best framework to bring them in? Where do they play? What's their best position? And do you have to maybe change in terms of your style a little bit? I think you have to.
Why do you think Klopp went so shooting the messenger there? Like really, he went over Diddy Man and reversed back over him. And
that's fair. Yeah, I think that's fair.
It wasn't the worst comment Diddy Man.
No, but I don't understand this. He's not entitled to. I mean, this is a lad who's like, I wouldn't maybe go as far as say iconic in terms of Liverpool. Hugely respected at Liverpool for his time there. We know the career he had his game. I've actually done a little bit of work with Didi over the years, and I've worked with some people that I'd be scratching my head in terms of some of the things that come out of their mouth, but he's not one of them. Like, what I mean, I think he has a good eye for the game. Present company, one or the other. Yeah, so no, I don't like to see that. I think he's got to be better than that, Jurgen Klopp. I think he's just got to, he's just got to answer the question as best he can.
Do you think it's a sign of the pressure he's under?
Yeah, I think there is. I think there is pressure there. Yeah, I think there is. But I think it's how high they've set the bar. Now, I wouldn't be overly critical of Liverpool to an extent, because I think it's amazing in terms of the level they've played at for the past couple of years, how they've put it up to Manchester City for the past 3 or 5 years, whatever it is. Been absolutely phenomenal. And they've done it a different way to Manchester. That's an exceptional Manchester City squad. It's been there for quite some time. Probably not as strong as it has been as it is now. But I think Liverpool have done fantastically well. And how they've played, I think the players he's integrated into that system have complemented the system. Kenny McCabe talking about this system suits us, we love it. The way Liverpool have played, heavy metal football, whatever you want to call it. Sure. I think it's been perfect. It's been perfect for the calibre of player that he's had available to him. But the question is, if the calibre player isn't available to him anymore to play that type of game, high energy, like dynamic, high pressing game, if there's a drop off from Jordan Henderson, for me, he's been key to that for the past 4 years. He can't operate at that level anymore, and we're seeing that. He's not even for his pick. He's not even for his pick in the Liverpool team, that Liverpool midfield at the moment. And if you're looking to introduce the likes of Elliott, Carvalho, even Thiago to an extent, we know a highly technical player. Just by virtue that you're bringing these players into the team means you're going to the style of play is changing. Now the question then is, are you going to be as effective or actually more successful with these players and teams as you have done previously? Just because you go a different way doesn't mean you're going to be kind of less successful. But I just can't see it, to be honest with you. At the moment, I just think they're short in that midfield there. They got plenty of bodies in there. But I just don't see that real kind of physicality. We spoke about it before. That real physicality, that real energy, that almost kind of the ability to run over teams in that central area of the pitch. You know what I mean? Yeah. Physically intimidate teams, bully them, grab games by the stroke, and then physically impose themselves. I don't think they have that at the moment. They're going to have to bring that into the football club. I don't think they have it in those midfield areas. And I might be wrong. I think maybe behind the scenes he's tried to do it. There's a few whispers when Tuchel went to Real Madrid in the summer. Liverpool maybe tried behind the scenes. There was maybe phone calls made. He's the type of player that I'm talking about. Bellingham, I think, is a given that there was no deal going to be done this year. Dortmund weren't going to let him go. The problem Liverpool have is, off the back of an indifferent season this year, what's the chance of getting him out of there next year? Probably unlikely, with the likes of Real Madrid and even Manchester City hunting him down next summer. I'd even reference kind of Camavinga. I think is another excellent player at Real Madrid. They bought him for 35 million the year before from Rennes. Very young player as well. Again, he was on Liverpool's radar, but it didn't happen. So maybe there has been, to be fair to Klopp, maybe behind the scenes he has been pushing hard for these players. It could be easy for him to come out, as other managers have done, and gone, the club will let me down. These are the players I've wanted these players in. These are the ones, and the club haven't gone and got them and hung the owners out or the recruitment department. Maybe to be fair to him, he hasn't done that. He's kind of bit his lip and he's gone on. So I'll give him a little bit of credit for that. I just hope, I'm sure he can see it, but I can't believe that he can't see that in terms of the people are saying the drop off spark. But you're right, they're real generalisations. Why did they need a spark? What's changed? What's different to what we've seen in previous Liverpool teams? I think that's the basic, the fundamental. Okay. In that, I think everything comes from that.
I want to keep going before the clock gets against us. By the way, for all your great analysis, the listeners only want to talk about one thing. So Keane says it isn't a Cork thing. The only slang they have down in Cork for a toe poke is toe bomb.
Toe bomb.
Now, Amber Barrett didn't toe bomb it. She toe poked it. but toe bomb sounds impressive.
Yeah.
And Arthur in Sligo, they used to call it a bull toe. Again, nothing subtle about that. So
I like it.
You can pick here.
Regional thing, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a regional thing.
And we all know what they mean. There's a couple of things that we jotted down that we were going to try and chat to you about. So Liverpool, we've touched on in depth. You can have your pick here. We're not going to get to everything. You ready? Here's your menu.
These aren't my. These are.
Here's your menu.
Menu.
You can chant VAR for a moment.
VAR,
hang on.
VAR's probably relevant because we're looking at the moment on the box arm. There's a VAR moment here, 6-1 Liverpool. And
do you like the restaurants where there's no choices? You just, I'll go straight for that.
Same menu.
Yeah. VAR.
I don't need a menu.
Arsenal, Spurs. You've seen a bit of Spurs, or else Graham Potter at Chelsea. You'll probably get to chat about one of them. What do you want?
No, we haven't got a lot of time, aren't we? I think a lot of those other things a little bit kind of time consuming. The VAR thing for one of me was, like I said to you know how I stand on the VAR. I didn't like it from the start.
Actually. Do you know why I don't know?
You do know. I've told. Not that I go constantly on about it. But
do you want to know how I don't know? I don't know how anyone stands on VAR because it's the most boring conversation ever. So if you talk to me about VAR and I'm nodding at you,
I'm not. I'm talking about it. I never bought into it. I'm never a fan of it from the.
Sorry, at all?
No, not at all. Very.
What about the goal line technology?
Goal line technology is fine.
Okay.
Absolutely fine. But the VAR, absolutely no. Not that I envisaged everything, but I could see this coming down the road. So for me, it's simple. So I'm watching that Manchester City game last night and I had to go off. I just couldn't bear it. Just couldn't bear it any longer. Those stoppages in play, just the fact that we're taking time out, stopping the game to view these instances repeatedly, I just can't. Yeah, I can't suffer it, to be honest with you. Because for me, it's simple. I just feel as if I'm not arguing. People say to me, but we're getting more decisions right. Yeah, absolutely. People I don't know what the percentages are. Yeah, you don't have to tell me, but I can see that we're getting more decisions right. But the fundamental for me question, I might have said it once before to someone, the question that I ask myself, is what we're watching this spectacle? Has it been enhanced? Is what we're watching is expected? Are you getting more enjoyment? Are you getting a better buzz now with VAR's involvement in the game than was previously?
So you've
the enjoyment factor, the spectacle.
You've spectacle above integrity of the game for the players.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And as a player, would you have had that?
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
Right.
I have no problem with that. Mistakes, referees making mistakes, linesmen making bad calls.
But to use an extreme example, the Henry handball, part of the game.
Yeah, no, I take it. That's an extreme. I take it. In the overall scheme of things, I take it. Yeah, I take the good and the bad. I really do. For me, it's the game, how it's getting, it's broken up. And it's that like a goal. And I'm the defender. You know what I'm like in terms of like goals scored. Like, we'll be doing somersaults. For me, it's all about blah, blah, clean sheets, etc. But for a fan going to the game, you know, the sensation, that ball hitting the net and the reaction to it, that instantaneous reaction, look, referee, whistle, goal, whoosh, you're in the moment.
We did it ourselves tonight, didn't we?
Absolutely in the moment, and that's been absolutely taken away. The sight now of players kind of half celebrating or celebrations being curtailed, referees looking at the screen and well, hold on, now let's go back. Actually, it is a goal. You can go back and replicate that spontaneous moment of 45 seconds or a minute and a half ago. It's ridiculous. It's gone, isn't it? So all of that, I think
if they got quicker at it, Kenny.
No, I don't like it. It's not going to get quicker. It's not going to get quicker. But it's referee's time to go over to the side, look, view the instant, watch it again. It's too long. It's too elongated. It's horrible. And I heard it the other night as well in terms of, it's here to stay. I mean, it's here to stay. That's the only argument I hear from people. If that's the only argument you have, it's here. It's not going to go. It's here now. But why is it here? Why is it a given it has to stay? If it's not working and there's a general consensus, and that consensus has grown, it's certainly grown amongst the players. I think if you took a vote amongst players, professional players in England now, I think you'd find at least 60% to 70% of the players would be, forget it, sack it. Let's go back to the way it was. Mistakes, individual mistakes, I'll take it. Referees' mistakes, lines of mistakes, I'll accept that. We all make mistakes, players, part and parcel of the game, part of life. Get on with it. I'll deal with that. But the game moves, the game flows at its own pace.
It's funny, though, because you would have had so many managers and so many players, even just in recent years, after bad decisions, talking about livelihoods being on the line, relegation, promotion, careers being defined by these mistakes. And we have the technology, we're not using it, we're so behind other sports. And
no,
you think that's changed now, that feeling in the game?
No, I think so. Yeah, I get a sense of it. I think for the TV companies themselves, I can understand what they want to push it. It's, you know, you bring all the little fads in, conversation, chit chatting, but try and build it up as drama. I mean, does people really think that's kind of drama? Players stood on the pitch in the centre stack with their hands on their hips.
I do take
waiting for a fifth official or referee.
Point on a lot of it. There is a certain, especially if it's a bigger game, but there is a certain drama in referees running over to the sideline. And
oh no, Joe,
not for you.
Oh God, no.
Okay.
Your stomach's churning. Absolutely not. No, I think it's like absolutely crestfallen.
Drama in waiting for the decision.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's gone. The moment's gone. You've lost it. By that stage, it's gone. The moment's gone. You know, that instantaneous, the emotion, the whole thing, it's gone. It's been taken away from you. You can't replicate. It's gone.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. So I don't know. I wouldn't give up on it. I know people, it's it's here to stay, but I'm not too sure. I think if that groundswell continues to grow amongst the players, managers, etc., and the fans, I think you can sense a little in the stadiums as well.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you know, you can hear it. There's groans when it comes now. And
yeah, I think so. But I think it's a shame because I'm literally switching off. I'm literally switching off games now, and I don't care if they get to the right answer or not, because invariably it's not a black and white anyway. It's subjective anyway. VAR, it's only fifth official. That's all VAR is. You know, Joe Blogg sitting in the car park somewhere in the back of a horse cart, like looking at a video. It's just another official.
Yeah.
3 officials on the pitch, 4 officials on the side. Now we've got a 5th official, and they're all arguing and making their own subjective opinions on decisions which they're saying, apart from offsides, obviously.
We're going to take a very short break. Back for a final run through the scores. The football show is with thanks to Sky. Watch every live Premier League game this season on Sky Sports, BT Sport and Premier Sports. Back in a sec.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Sky, watch all the football you love, including the biggest Premier League games every weekend. Live on Sky.
This is News Talk.
The Woody's Haunted Home event is now on. All Halloween decorations, lights and costumes are half price, which makes for some scarily good savings. Offers available while stocks last, so don't miss out or it will haunt you forever. Shop in-store, online or with click and collect. Woody's, we're all homemakers. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
It's over.
Go, don't look back. Go get your life back on track. Though there's hurt, though there's pain, this car can't compete with the train. I drove you away, I wasted your time. You told me we'd gone to the end of the line.
Break up with your car. Love 20% off fares with Ian Road Aaron.
Part of the Transport for Ireland network.
Today, you can alleviate stress on your company finances and stress on the electricity grid by participating in demand response with NLX. By adjusting your energy usage for just a few hours per year, your business could receive a welcome revenue boost. And we could all benefit from a more sustainable future. With NLX, the power really is in your hands. To find out more, visit demandresponse.ie.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Sky. Watch Premier League, Women's Super League, EFL, Scottish Premiership and much more. Live only on Sky Sports.
This is News Talk.
So we're basically out of time. The game of the evening, it turns out, was at the Nou Camp, where Dembele scored for Barcelona, then Barrett scored for Inter, then Martinez scored for Inter to make it 2-1, then Lewandowski equalised to make it 2-2 in the 82nd minute. Then Robin Gosens scored in the 89th minute to make it 3-2 Inter. Then Lewandowski scored in the 92nd minute to make it 3-3. So there you go. There's the game of the evening. Liverpool 7 in the end. 7-1 winners against Rangers. That'll get them feeling good, I guess.
Yeah.
And Spurs 3-2.
Spark. We found a spark tonight, Liverpool.
Wouldn't you give anyone a fiver in the press conference to put that to cloth? Did you, man on the TV just said that could be the spark that you need? 3-2 Spurs against Frankfurt. So we're pretty much done. Ger and Shane back tomorrow morning, OTB AM. Graham Hunter, Trevor Fletcher on the show, amongst other things. Kenny's hour was a triumph, they're saying.
Oh,
you're a success.
You're a bit of a blur, Joe.
We did it all.
That last hour.
Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah.
Pleasure. We will see you tomorrow, as usual, 7 o'clock, and Tom Dunn is on the way.
Give him a ball and he out of grass. He'll give you a move for the perfect pass. Give him a ball and he out of space. He'll give you a move with godly grace. He's a nice young man. It's a lovely smile. He's a nice young man. It's a lovely smile. He's a nice young man.
The Chrysler